US debt just hit 37 trillion. Are higher taxes next? Hi, it's Amanda here. Today, I want to talk about something that affects every single taxpayer in America, whether you realize it or not. The US government just hit a new milestone, and it's not a good milestone. We have now over $37 trillion in debt. Now, that number could feel abstract, but I want to break it down for you from a tax perspective, because at the end of the day, this debt is funded by our tax dollars. Now, if you look at the Treasury's chart, you'll notice a little dip in April. That's not because the government suddenly got disciplined with spending. It's simply because April is tax season. Millions of Americans, especially business owners and independent contractors, sent in their quarterly deposits. So, simplest terms, more money came in that month than went out. The same thing happens again in June with the second round of quarterly payments that we pay into the system. But here's the catch. Without those inflows, the deficit would have been even worse. And in fact, if you adjust for a timing trick where June payments were to shift back into May, the June surplus of $27 billion actually turns into a $71 billion deficit in the other way. So let's talk about why this matters for taxpayers, right? Why should we care about these numbers? They seem super crazy. I don't even have a grasp on what that means. Well, we care because when the government overspends, they have to borrow more money. And when they borrow more money, they have to pay more interest, just like us, right? When we borrow money, we have to pay more interest. When the government borrows, our government has to pay more interest. In 2025, the government is projected to spend about $1 trillion just on interest payments. To put that in perspective, the government collects about $5 trillion in taxes every single year. That means 20% of the tax money that we generate is going to pay simply the interest on the past debt. That money is not going to schools, it's not going to healthcare, and it's not going to infrastructure. Back in 2020 and 2021, where the debt levels were lower and interest rates were lower, interest expense was only about $300 billion. It's funny I say only 300, but today with higher debt and higher interest rates, the payments have more than tripled. So here's the bigger picture. Think of it like your own finances, right? If you have a small credit card balance with a low teaser rate, your monthly payments are manageable. But if you max out your credit cards and your interest rates skyrocket, suddenly your payments eat up everything and you're stuck. And that's exactly what's happening with our tax system. As taxpayer, more and more of our money is going to pay interest instead of productive programs. And the scary part, the government has already announced plans to borrow another $1.6 trillion over the next 2 quarters. So what does this mean for tax planning? Well, here's the bottom line. The government isn't tightening its belt, right? They're going to likely keep borrowing, which means future taxes are likely to go up, whether that's higher income taxes, higher capital gains taxes, or fewer deductions and credits, or closing of different tax loopholes and benefits. That's why now, even more than ever, it's critical that you take advantage of the tax strategies that are available today, because guess what? They might not always be available, right? So we want to take care of things that are available now, like accelerated depreciation, 100% bonus depreciation, strategically timing our real estate purchases and sales alongside different cost segregation studies. We want to look at ways to leverage retirement contributions where we can pay towards our retirement rather than paying the IRS in tax advantage accounts like 401ks and IRAs. And yes, there are ways to use real estate to not only reduce your taxes today, but get lifetime tax-free growth. And if you plan accordingly, allow you to use tax benefits to move money from your pre-tax account like a 401k into permanently tax-free bucket like a Roth 401k or a Roth IRA. Why is that important? Because that means you now have a bucket of money that is tax-free forever, that you don't ever pay taxes on. So in the future, if and when tax rates go up, you at least have a bucket of money that's forever going to be protected from taxes. So while the government may not be balancing its own budget or its own finances, you can balance your own financial plan. But don't wait until tax laws change or rates go up. Start implementing tax strategies now. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to subscribe and I'll keep you updated on how national tax policy could impact your bottom line.